Well, that music means start your engines, come ride in our truck on Road Gang Radio, live from Fastport Studios in New Orleans with Jimmy Mack and Lindsay Lawler leading the convoy.
Welcome back. It's Road Gang Radio. That's Jimmy Mack. I'm Lindsay Lawler. That was Gary Graff. You can check out the 501 Essential 80s albums. He will be back with us July 2nd talking about the 501 Essential 90s albums. I, of course, would be remiss if we didn't talk to our next guest about the albums that lit him up growing up. But joining us next is rapper Rikk Reighn. Make it rain, yo, our friend. We missed him yesterday because his phone was maybe at the bottom of a pool from a BET after party. I don't know. What's going on, brother? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I loved it. At the bottom of the pool, huh? I love it.
Well, Rick, I said yesterday, maybe it's at the bottom of P. Diddy's pool, and then that was everyone. Everyone clinched up a little bit. It clinched up a little bit. Hey.
Hey, Lindsay, you did me like that, Lindsay? Oh, not Diddy's pool.
Listen, you don't show up for an interview, I'll put you at a P. Diddy party. That's what happens around here. Watch yourself.
Hey,
ain't nobody at Diddy's house, man.
I truthfully really apologize, man. I did have some technical difficulties earlier, but yeah, I truthfully, it was my fault, guys. I did it. It was my fault.
No, it's all good. It's all good, brother. It's all good, brother. Well, we've talked plenty. Good morning. First, are you still in LA? Are you back home now?
Yeah, I'm still in. I'll leave here in just a second, probably within the next hour.
All right, cool. Well, so we've reminded the audience that we met you at the Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville. We had you on air, which was super cool. It struck up a relationship, an even deeper relationship that you and I have now, which we'll talk about later. But I want to start with this because you're in the action. You just had a song out on the Shy. Do I say it right? I'm an idiot. Is it the Shy? Right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Which congratulations, because that's huge. Your song "Get High" on the Shy. That's how I can remember it.
Yes,
it rhymes.
Ma'am. Yes.
And you're just coming from the BET Awards. Talk about being there live at the BET Awards, because I watched it and it was powerful.
Oh my God, man. It was amazing. Shout out to BET and their production. Man, they did an excellent job the whole weekend. I mean, everything was on point. The way that everything was set up, the way that the hospitality was, the customer service was, everything was immaculate. It was perfect. It wasn't any problems. Everything was great. Everybody they said was going to be there came, and extras. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. They did a great job. I'm just saying, like, it's really, the BT now to me is like really elegant, like almost like Met Gala is getting to that point now where people are you have to be a certain way and dress a certain way to be a part of the production and the situation. But it's great though. It was a very, very interesting weekend.
What do you, Rick, what do you think is important about those events? I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, people getting awards and being celebrated is one thing, but there's a kind of communion that goes on at events like that, particularly BET, and there's a couple of other ones I can think of. But what is really the crucial thing about why people go to that? It's more than just somebody getting up on a stage and accepting an award.
Right.
Talk about why it's important to you and to the people there.
Networking. I think the most important thing is networking. People are meeting people that they've been trying to get in touch with. People are meeting people that they idolize, not in a way that we're, you know, like, oh my God, but just like, wow, he's a great artist. She's a great artist. She's a great dancer. I can't wait to meet her one day and talk to her. Maybe he's a great film photographer. You know what I mean? So it's like the networking to me, even at an A-level situation, because there's still A-level artists, and I know a few that still are looking to meet certain people and still haven't met certain people or certain people that are in certain positions. So that's what I got out of it. A lot of it was, it's a lot of love and camaraderie, but I think the networking is unmatched. I think it's really a really, really great networking service for a lot of different reasons.
Really quickly, to kind of get a follow-up on that, because I said this yesterday about you, and I meant it. When you were at the Mid-America Trucking Show, when we were over both at the Airbnb and then on the floor of the convention itself, the conference, the gathering of folks, it's so important what you do is that you really focus in on other human beings. You really kind of make sure that the person in front of you is the one you're talking to. And is that an important thing when you're marketing and networking, to remember that everybody is somebody? because I think a lot of people
Absolutely.
make that mistake. And can you kind of talk about what your technique is to make sure no matter who the person is you're talking to them?
Absolutely. Number one, I don't never, whether it's a supporter or me not even knowing who I'm speaking with. I just want to make sure that I always give everybody the same amount of respect. You know what I mean? I shake their hand firmly. I look them in their eyes when they talk, and I want them to know that I'm interested and I am paying attention to what they're saying, no matter who it is, because sometimes you never know. And it happened this weekend to me several times where just by chance I'd be standing in line to get something to drink or in front of the stage, and people, I met a very, very, very critical PR team, and just by saying hi, yeah, hey, how you doing? And they were looking at me like, how you doing? And then next thing you know, I was like, what do you do? And I was like, hey, you watch The Shy? And it just went on from there. And it was engagement. And I think the number one thing is to let people know, no matter who it is, that their conversation is important and that you want to pay attention to what they're saying and vice versa.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like this network. It's the original social media. Actually, being in person and actually meeting somebody,
Absolutely.
actually meeting them and networking. Okay, so Rikk, it's interesting here. So your new project coming out, produced by Kopi, who's a badass producer. I mean, fire, 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 fire. And got to meet in person and work with, so I'm very excited about that. But the new project is called, and Jim, you're going to know exactly what this album's about when I tell you that it's called The Dispensary, and the first single is called Get High. So we're pretty on the nose there. But it's funny, Tara the turtle here around here, she asked me, because she knows that you and I are doing a collab, and she was like, "Are you on the Dispensary project?" I'm like, "Oh, no, girl. I mean, that project's rad, but it's very, that's like so you, and then we pull you out of that project and we drop in a collab like that you and I are doing." So I want to pivot and talk
Yeah.
about collaborations here. Obviously,
Okay.
this is near and dear to my heart, and near and dear because you and I are. When I met you at Matt's, I said, "Hey, dude, I've wanted to forever do a country rap collab that's like Patsy Cline meets Bone Thugs and Harmony." And you
No,
were like,
absolutely.
"I know Busy Bone, let's go." And so what's cool here is I think that you and I are creating a new genre, which is my
Yes.
obsession. Talk a bit about, because country and rap, they're lyric heavy. Both of them are lyric
Yes.
heavy. Both genres are really rooted in storytelling, authenticity, and struggle. Both of them are.
Absolutely.
But you and
Absolutely.
I, this is the first time we've done this kind of writing. How do you take what you do and sort of like be all that you can be, and also get out of the way so someone else can be all they could be, and see what we come up with? You hear me?
Yeah, it's and honestly, it is a challenge because I'm so critical of myself now, especially trying to jump into a different genre in a sense. So it's kind of like okay, Rick, be yourself, but at the same time, like you were saying, it's like okay, you got to let Lindsay kind of take the lead on this one, because if we're going to go more into this genre a little bit as far as just constructing this song, it's new for me. I mean, I'm a rap artist, and I can write R&B, but country, just the feel of it is just newer to me actually doing it. So my approach on this one is just a little bit different, because I'm usually the one that takes the lead on my collaborations in a sense. Like usually it's a feature. If somebody features me, then of course it's their song. I'll just come in and do my part. But when I collab with somebody, I usually take the lead. But this time it's like, yes, it's a collaboration we put together, and my producers involved, and you have people involved as well. But with it going kind of country-ish, I'm kind of like letting you take the lead. That's why when we was discussing, I was like, how about you start it if you didn't pay attention, and then let me come in, because I wanted you to kind of take the lead for it. So then that way it's easier for me to connect, because this is new to me. But I love it. I love a challenge. This is great. It feels great too. I love it.
It's a
So
challenge.
far you've done a great job. Honestly, it's great. It's magnificent.
Well,
But
I was
yeah.
just going to tell Jim, because it's called The Other Side. You heard it here first. It's called The Other Side.
Uh-huh.
And it's Jim, it's basically, this is a duet. I am on the other side. I'm dead. I'm dead in this song. Spoiler alert. And singing back to Rikk to like comfort
Yeah.
him, that because Rikk lost his dad a couple years ago, and that's kind of where the
Yeah.
inspiration came. And so it's hard, but I think it's taking longer for us to figure it out, because when you know something is special, you want to give it that time and that care. And Jim, you
Yes.
know that, Jim, being a creator yourself, like there's things that come together quickly, and which I think the collaboration on this came together quickly, but the product is going to take longer, Jim, and
Yes.
which will be interesting then to share. If you know that feeling, Jim, when you're like, this is special, I can't just throw this together.
Well, and the other thing is too is I keep thinking about the idea that when you talked about the idea that word heavy, country music and rap both being so incredibly word heavy, and I keep thinking about on a very comical level the first time I ever heard the Gourd play Gin and Juice. And I thought it was funny because it was, a Snoop Dogg song played by a bunch of guys on, banjos and harp strings. And then I suddenly realized, wait a minute, this works for the people who are telling this story, meaning that the new voices that have replaced the old voices, it works essentially at the same sort of level. And the other kind of commonality is whether it is from the hills of Appalachia or from some dusty road on some country road, or whether it's from the streets. There's a commonality too in regards to a struggle that goes on in this music, in all kind of great music that speaks to power. The idea of I've been bloodied, I've been beaten, life has been hard, I've come up someplace, but now I'm here. I started from the bottom, now I'm here, and that's a sentiment that works across the spectrum when it comes to speaking about the people who have to struggle to become a success. And so that may be at some level a sort of core of commonality, and then it's about figuring out how do I take this style and find out where they match up as well. Have I made any sense, Rick, or am I just talking out my tuchus?
Nah, you made perfect sense. I understand exactly what you're saying, and honestly, I've been wanting to jump genres for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I think with this right here is going to give me an opportunity to kind of get into more of the country style of music, because now I'm kind of studying it and then working with Lindsay, because she's a great artist, and the way that we're doing this is crazy. She might not have explained it to you, but we've been doing something that's different. It's almost like virtual, kind of. Would you call it virtual writing, Lindsay? What would you call it?
I'm not gonna label it as anything because again, we're creating something new. We've been
Yeah.
in person together. It was super cool, Jim, to be in the studio and watch. So Kopi, Rick's producer, came in. He drops the track that's inspired by Rick. So it's Kopi's track inspired
Yep.
by Rick's artistry, and then we put him
Yep.
in the studio and give Mark Evans, who, by the way, Mark is on right after you on the show today. So that's actually
Nice.
really cool.
What's happening?
Yeah, so watching Kopi and Rick, Jimmy Mack, watching them watch Mark do what he does and put all these strings and fiddle and banjo on it, and watching them be like, ooh, what, fire, like watching it, it just gave me chills to see people be so respectful and excited and lit up by somebody else's artistry blending into your own. I mean, that's the stuff that I could talk about and be a part of all day long. So I don't know, Rick. I'd like to say that we're doing something different. Not to say that we're reinventing the wheel, but we're doing something different in the sense that we're not putting any parameters around it,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree a ton. I agree. I love it.
Rick, I've been doing this all morning, and we've been doing this all week because we really haven't gotten a chance to get into origin stories here. Phone Master Dre is kind of hard at work over there, but I kind of wanted to ask you point blank about you, because he and I have been curious about this. We want to know about you. We want to know, what's going on and where you come from, your origin story, how you end up the dapper, stylish dude that you are today. So can you kind of unpack that for us a little bit?
Yeah. So I'll definitely pack it up and give you a brief little synopsis. But this is what
include strip clubs in there. Include it all, buddy. We want to hear the influence.
Do it.
Okay. So I started rapping when I was 5. Okay. My uncle, I wrote my first rap song myself when I was 5 years old and did it and recorded it in the studio. My uncle, my mom's brother, was the person that got me influenced by music. And from that point on, I love music. I started rehearsing with a brush in the mirror at a very young age. I started reciting songs, and I loved the studio. So that's where the music portion came from. At the same time, my father, my stepdad, he had came into my life, and he was one of the top DJs in my city. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, by the way.
Shout out.
But he was one of the top DJs in our city. And I started going to work with him sometimes in the daytime, just while he did the daytime stuff, not at night, but he would take me in there, show me how to count bottles, and all kind of things that had things to do with the club life. And then that's where, when we were talking about with the strippers, that's where the strippers came from, because my father was
Shout out.
originally one of the the FU man is what they called him. And he was a really great guy, man, a really great guy. But he started the whole, not that we had strip clubs here, like gentlemen's clubs here, where they come out like, bring in Barbie to the floor. You know, we got them. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome back to the main stage.
But my dad did is he brought the entertainment portion of how things are done today. And this is honest to God truth in the 80s, in the early 90s, where he called the girls out one by one a certain way and let them perform a certain way and engage a certain way in the urban community. So that portion started here, which I got involved at a young age after I graduated and started helping promote. And I was helping him earlier, just pass out flyers, but after I got of age and my mom was like, okay, then I started to go out on the road with him and stuff like that. So that started building my character. I jumped right into, I'm going back and forth. So I'm doing music and this at the same time, at the same age. I bump into Busy Bone through my uncle, the same uncle that got me started. And he was doing a movie, working on a movie soundtrack, which was here. It's online. It's called Jacked Up. And it's on YouTube right now. You can pull it up, Busy Bone Jacked Up. I also have the title song of that the title track to that movie comes on and goes off of my song in that movie. But anyway, we bumped into Busy. Me and him became really close, and we worked for like 6 months straight on a full project that never got released. The only song that got released on the soundtrack was my song, but none of the other songs ever got released. There was some things going on behind the scenes that was out of my control at that time. But I ended up building a great relationship with him. And then things just started escalating. I kept working. I went out of town. I had a couple offers on the table. I had a meeting with Def Jam. A lot of things going on. In enters Jelly Roll. I met Jelly in 2011. He was like floating around at that time, and his technique was, I'm gonna go to every city and find the hottest rapper in every city and do a song with them and do a show with them in their city and try to inspire their fans to come over and listen to my music, which was a great idea, and he did it. So when he got to Columbus, Ohio, at that time I was the hottest person in the city. He asked around, checked on Twitter, seen it, called me out to a video shoot downtown, and I came out there, met him for the first time. We came back to my crib, got in the studio. I had a studio at my crib. We did some music there, invited me, my DJ, and my security guard to Nashville, Tennessee the next day. He said, if you boys is about it, if you boys is about it, come on out here to Nashville. I'll take care of y'all. And we shot out to Nashville the next day. My girl wasn't the happiest about it, but
They never are. They never are.
Hey, that's what happened with that. We shot out there, and then, you know what I'm saying, we became good friends. I did 3 or 4 different tours with Jelly. We got songs on iTunes and stuff that's unreleased and all kind of things. We did a lot of shows, sold out Columbus a lot of times in the surrounding areas a lot of times. So I went through a phase with that. And in between that, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff in the city, like Ohio Hip Hop Awards and radio. You know what I mean? I have radio spins and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And that just built up to the person I was. And at a younger age, that whole Busy Bone thing, it was bad business. And this is what made me the type of person I am as far as the business and on top of my business now, because I entrusted the person to take care of my business. And he did, but it was for his favor. So I didn't understand publishing and stuff like that. I was real young. I was just happy to be around Busy and them. And it had nothing to do with Busy at all. This is totally, Busy was a great person. He put me in a position to help with the soundtrack, so it had nothing to do with him. It was business for a person that I trusted. And it just, the publishing and stuff that I didn't understand, it just kind of did me wrong. So that made me get on top of my game as far as business goes. And then from that point on, I always said I would always discuss my own business until it got to the point to where maybe if I did hire management, I still would have the last say-so because I have trust issues now. But that built that person.
Welcome to the music business. It should be called the trust issues business.
Absolutely. So now I opened a preschool in my hometown, one of the largest black-owned preschools in Ohio. Actually, it was, and it was great. I did that for 8 years. I paused on music for a while just because it was overwhelming. It got to feeling too much like business, not enough like like pleasure, like I was feeling it. And when I started feeling like that, when I started not liking music, I had to take a break from it because I actually love music. So I took a break from that, got into some other business ventures, sharpened my iron as far as business goes and setting up things, LLCs and making all that stuff and legit and all that boom. And then, that situation was with an ex of mine, which is my kid's mother, which was no shade toward her. That was her dream. I let her go on about that. I skipped over and then came back to the music side. So that's basically where I'm at right now. That's a quick little overflow of it's a lot to go with it, though, in between those gaps. But that's the main parts, and that kind of created the person I am. So now I'm just a friendly rap artist, shrewd businessman on the other side, though. I don't really, as far as that go, I'm really hands-on when it comes to my business. But the rap artist, person-friendly side is a totally different person.
Now,
maybe that's the Jim and I in me.
No, that's the Jim and I. That's the Jim and Rikk Reighn. That's the Jim and Lindsay Lawler. Listen, Rick, the other thing I wanted to ask you, because of the journey you've made into collaborating with Lindsay, but also being a part of the road now. Since you've kind of made a journey into the world of trucking, how much more aware have you become of the presence of trucks around you? And I don't just mean like on the open road. I'm talking about when you go to things like the BET, when you work on live shows. How much more aware of you of the contribution of the men and women who actually are driving trucks in this country?
Man, I love it because, honestly, it's funny you said that because we had a big show. I do EDM parties, too, in Columbus, Ohio, on the weekends here. So it's like we was amazed because when the truck pulled up, these guys came in. It was DJs, and they came in with 2 18-wheelers. I was like, wow, like they this big? And it was like, yeah, man, they're pretty big guys. So, and I was just looking at the whole setup and how they had everything set up, and they was coming with the forklifts. The forklifts was unloading everything. I was like, nah, this is crazy. And the first thing I was looking at was the truck. That's the first thing I said. I went over there and looked at it. It was Volvos. And I was just looking, just amazed because now I absolutely look at things of that nature different. Like I be paying attention to stuff. I done learned the lingo. I'll be talking to some of the truckers now and be throwing some words out there and they be looking at me crazy. I'm like, yeah, you drive? I'm like, nah, I just know a bunch of truckers, that's all. And I'm like, okay. So, yeah, it's great, man, and I love it. I was just talking to Jacob, Hater May, just a couple of days ago. Me and him was just discussing a couple of things. I was like, man, it's like that world is family, man. It's so dope. And it's people that I've met there that are still reaching out to me personally, that's still reaching out to me. Like this one guy, Lindsay, he's talking about our tour already. He is serious. He called me with the owner on the damn phone. Like, he was like, hey, this is Rikk Reighn, and our company wants to handle his tour. I'm like, hold on, buddy. Hold on just a second. Like, I appreciate it. I said, sir, I appreciate it. I know he's very enthusiastic, but we're not at that point yet. But I definitely got you guys in mind. They start quoting prices and asking me distances. Like, but
Rick, here's the deal. No, but see, you got to look at it this way. That means it's happening. Like once it's like now you can't escape it. It's like there's no excuse. You've got the means to pull it. You got the music. You got the artistry. And I mean that in a good way. It's like, yes, a little bit cart before the horse or trailer before the tour, but it means it's happening. You and I talk about visualization and how you even got in when you moved out to LA and just how you're being guided by the signs. I take that as one more sign. And the fact that we talked about this before you came on the air, you had the wherewithal to be like, we're going to a truck show. There's going to be trucks there. Let's shoot a video, as opposed to when you see some of these big budget rap videos that had to, who knows what they had to spend to bring in those trucks. You're like, I'm already going to be there. Let's just shoot it while we're there. So you're just like doing the things and it's happening, right?
Yes, ma'am. It is. And speaking of that, in my truck video, I'm very particular about this, guys. I want everybody to love it. So I done seen a couple edits. It is magnificent. We're just doing the final little tweaks. So in my truck, we'll definitely be out here very, 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 very soon. And we just want to make sure that we got everybody in there. Everybody that I mentioned, if it's their truck, if it's their face, is very particular and very strategic the way that this is done. So that's why it's taking just a little bit longer. So I just want to let everybody that it's not shelved. It is definitely, definitely coming. We're just perfecting it.
That's a big deal, isn't it? We've been kind of talking about that the entire time, is that there are things that have to get done and they have to get done quickly. There are other things that are only worth doing if they're worth doing right. And, so much of what you guys are trying to pull off here, so much of what, and the other thing is, too, often we only get one opportunity, so we better make sure that everything, including the engine is actually working the way it should. It's why people do such long pre-trips, right? I mean, you got some stuff that you got to get right?
And I don't want the trucker family mad at me like, hey, video sucked. No.
Yeah, they know. They know. They will point out things. Trust me, they'll be like, that's not legit. They know. They'll call you out, and I mean that in a good way. All right, Rikk, we've just got about 2 minutes left with you. So we had on a legendary music journalist earlier this morning, Gary Graff, and we were talking about essential albums from the 80s. We're going to have him back from essential albums from the 90s. Give us an album or two that shapes, I know there's all kinds of influences, but is there a particular album from you growing up, knowing that you started rapping at 5 years old, either 80s or 90s, and I'm not going to age you, but just influence-wise, what's one or two albums that you're like, that's the feeling, that's what I'm striving to create that feeling in my life from here on out?
Believe it or not, and this will age me a little bit, but it's cool. One of the first most inspiring albums was Beastie Boys' License to Ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, and it was early in the Run DMC the album too. But the reason why the Beastie Boys, I liked it because it was just kind of different, and it wasn't really focused all on rap. It was characters. You know what I mean? They had characters. Like, why do they have Eminem? And to me, that was interesting. I was like, wow, like these guys have learned how to mash themselves together to make this music, and they all have their own person. Very interesting in hearing that music. So that's definitely one for me for sure.
I got to tell you, brother, the Beastie Boys bring back a lot of memories for me. And by the way, it always makes me think of Mark Bavaro and the New York Giants as well. Rikk Reighn, we're out of time. Give everybody the socials they need to get to make sure they can find all the stuff that you're actually up to and making happen right now.
Yes, sir. It's RIKK REIGH. Don't forget the HN. That's Rikk Reighn at everything. All my socials, YouTubes, TikToks, Instagrams, Facebook. Everything is Rikk Reighn. If it ain't, it's fake.
Make it Rikk Reighn. Make it Rikk Reighn. Rikk, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
we know we'll have you back when the other side comes out, and I want to get you down to perform in New Orleans with us at the new studio as well. Thanks for making time. Tell everyone in LA we love them, and we love you, brother. We'll talk very soon.
All right, thank you.